Welcome to Aliyah 2. Our capitalist society does provide a safety net for many people. However, it also encourages us to earn and acquire as much capital as we can and to spend it as we see fit. The debate between how responsible we are for each other and how responsible each person is for themselves is the fodder for much of our political debate in this country. However, our Parsha envisions a different kind of society. In particular, in chapter 25, verse 23, the Torah tells us, "But the land must not be sold beyond reclaim, for the land is mine," with a capital M. "You are but strangers resident with me," again, capital M. According to this verse, no material things are actually our own. They are God's. Anshul, how does the Torah then develop this idea into rules for society?
Well, the Torah recognizes that there are those who are the haves and those who have the have-nots, because some are more successful than others. And as a result, you have many times gaps, people who have little or people who have more. And the Torah says we need to be able to deal with that so that you can create a more equal society. And the Torah then, in and of itself, said, we have the certain parameters that I think would be valuable. This is what the Torah says. There's the 7th year and the 50th year. And the Torah says, hey, at the end of 7 years, or by the end of the 6th year, when you go into the 7th year, here's an opportunity for you to correct some of that imbalance. And if you're, and that particularly deals with all kinds of what the Talmud calls metaltalin, portable capital, etc., etc. All right, and then there's the idea of the 50th year where they talk about land, and even land is not something that's lost in perpetuity, but rather is a way to redeem it, so that you have a fail-safe way to undo the imbalance in the future.
Okay. And is there another measure, another mechanism that the Torah prescribes other than the 50th year and the 7th year?
Yeah, the Torah then prescribes that there's a concept called goel. That somebody, there are individuals in society who are responsible, certainly if it's your relative or someone who's close to you, to help redeem that person from the difficulty that they're in.
Right, so the Torah tells us we shouldn't let it get that far. But when we look at each other, we should take responsibility. And we can see in Jewish history that this idea takes center stage for a long period of time. And in fact, one of the central mitzvot, one of the central obligations of an individual and a community throughout the period of Galut, when we didn't have the land of Israel, was redeeming captives, right? And that if a Jew was taken captive, it was everyone's responsibility to help redeem them from that position.
Correct, and that even applies even today. If we need to understand, why does the state of Israel make such a big point about redeeming their soldiers if they've been captive, or even if they have been killed and they're in enemy hands? This concept of goel, of redemption, applies, and so the society has to make all its efforts it can to redeem them, to bring them back, so that there is this kind of acceptance that we are responsible for our brethren in whatever circumstances they may find themselves.
And so when we would, in the Middle Ages or later, go off into the unknown, or in time of war we go off into the unknown, right? We have to redeem ourselves. And today, when we are looking at a situation that is so unknown and unpredictable, it would seem that we have that same responsibility as well.
Yes.